Fancy seeing you here. Let's get into the Tasha K, Bishop Whitehead, and Pastor or Dr. Larry Reid. Now, I wanted to get into this not for the sensationalism of it all, but where we're going in the future. It's concerning where we have people that have large platforms or have the ability to reach many people, that they use it in a way to lash out, to purposefully or potentially spread false information just for the sensationalism of it, because we're angry, we're upset, or because it brings in numbers. And if you're not aware of what's going on, just a quick synopsis. Dr. Larry Reid, or Pastor Larry Reid, who is a creator here on YouTube and has many other projects outside of YouTube, had a cordial relationship or friendship, if you want to call it, with another YouTube creator named Tasha K. Now, Tasha K, out of all three, has the largest platform. She's boisterous, she's funny, she's entertaining, and she usually brings out the tea, as people put it, before anyone else gets it. So she's the Wendy Williams, you would say, of YouTube. Or I would say that she's the Wendy Williams of YouTube. And Bishop Whitehead is a pastor, or as he calls himself, a bishop out of New York City. And he became well known recently with many of us due to a video that came out of him being potentially robbed while he was on live providing a sermon. Now, the reason why all these three have intertwined is because prior to a rather disgusting story of Larry Reid came out, Larry Reid discussed the robbery on his channel, and he had his opinion that there were certain inconsistencies with the video that led him to believe the robbery potentially was not an actual robbery. But again, it was just his assumption. Well, that did not sit well with Bishop Whitehead, and they went back and forth. Well, during that time, somehow Larry Reid and Tasha fell out due to the fact that, Tasha made some innuendos that, she thought that Pastor Larry Reid was not a homosexual or by chance bi. And duality of however he wants to go, he just wanted to let her know that's incorrect information. There's some things that happened to me when I was a child. And now, I did state on my platform that I did try being with other men, and I decided after doing it that I did not want to be with another man. And that was that. Well, for some reason, she brought it up, and she started putting it out there that he, in fact, was gay because of his relationship or friendship with another content creator named CONSCIOUZ TV. Now, CONSCIOUZ TV and Larry Reid are just simply men or individuals that have built a relationship. It started off as a mentee, mentor, and they're keen to speak to one another, and they have, commonness. But it was mainly just a friendship. But due to the fact that they have a friendship and CONSCIOUZ TV identifies as a gay man, she's putting it out there that their relationship to her seems suspect. And so rumors went around that he was actually gay. Then it escalated when she went and found that there was a lawsuit alleging that Pastor Larry Reid did some things with some men, potentially stating that they may have been young men. But all those claims were refuted. And he even did a lawsuit against a creator that put those falsehoods out there. And then after that, she escalated and stated that he may have had communicable disease that he was spreading. And thus is where we are today. Now, even though Tasha K is not regarded as a journalist per se, she does have, I would hope, that people, when they're, even if they're providing commentary, has some type of integrity that if I'm going to put something out there, I'm going to do my due diligence to research before providing it to the public, or once finding out the true information, is not ashamed to do a retraction or an update. And I say that because the case that she brought up, if she read it further and saw the most recent case, she would have seen that a lot of the claims were unsubstantiated, and thus nothing further went on. And some of the accusers even retracted. Now, you might say they may have been paid off. You might say, they were threatened. Or you might just say they, for whatever reason at that time, fabricated a story, because it does happen. And Pastor Larry Reid has not had any other accusations. And so, just based on the information provided, is it okay to willfully be ignorant if it states that, the case is potentially closed? Because the assertions that were made, especially about him having that communicable disease, that is lifelong. That is the internet. That is something that cannot be. The only way that it can potentially be erased, and that is, but again, emphasis on the potential, is if in fact he does do litigation against a Tasha K and a Bishop Whitehead, because they both put that story out. And so I bring this up because it's concerning where when we're upset with one another, we can't just leave it at that, at a period. You made me upset and I don't want to work with you. But to purposefully or potentially try to dig up something without doing your due diligence and hiding behind the word allegedly, when there's no attempt to see if a case was put out, we're setting a precedence that anybody can just get online, whoever has a microphone, and say, so-and-so did this. And now they're painted with that scarlet letter stating that they are what that person said. And now it's your job to eradicate that information and prove people wrong. But sometimes the information is not available to prove that it wasn't wrong. And so now, because I've upset you, you have now ruined my name. And especially when it comes to stating that someone has an illness, where a lot of people regard that illness as something that is demeaned, and we're barely getting away from that stigma. Why would you do that with no evidence just because you don't like somebody? Because then it led Dr. Reid to go and get tested and to show online, hey, I really don't have it and I never did what they said they did. But you heard rumblings in the background. Well, how do you know that was really his test? How do you know you didn't pay somebody off? How this and how that? And that's something that he's going to have to fight now, because if he ever wants to get in a relationship, that person's really going to look at him like, A, do you truly just like men? B, do you like men or potentially boys? And C, do you have a disease that is incurable? Those are heavy. And previous to that, I apologize, I forgot to state, she even mentioned that he may have misappropriated funds to buy his baby mother Birkin bags. And so, again, during this time where we have people misappropriating PPP loans, we have people like Brett Favre stealing from, people from the state of Mississippi, and so on and so on. the allegations that are being put out are pretty heavy for someone to have to remove. Now, Dr. Reid has maintained a level of grace, and it must be a lot of prayer, because I know for myself, if someone did something like that, there would be a lot of curse words involved, and there'd be a lot of anger. And so I do regard him and applaud him for just fighting the good fight, but not letting it stress him. And if it is, he's surrounding himself with people that are keeping him level-headed, which we all should have. But it's just very concerning that somebody would go to the realms of defamation to get back at somebody. How is this allowed? And it's just very concerning. And I understand. We love the drama, we love the tea, we love something so salacious. But when it comes to someone's livelihood, when it comes to someone's name, and you know that the things that you're alleging can ruin their life, not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, not for a year, but for years to come, where they have to potentially prove to potential offers, TV shows, relationships, congregants, followers, subscribers. People are always going to look at you like, well, you kind of did give me the vibes of this. Well, you're just like this person. Well, you kind of remind me of a guy that I saw on America's Most Wanted. This. We have to understand that words have implications behind them. Now, yes, being in the commentary realm, we do have to make assumptions based on the facts that are given, and try to, glue things together so it kind of makes coherent sense to the masses. But we as individuals, especially if we have the foresight to say, I'm going to utilize our computers, our laptops, our phones to do as much research as possible, to get as much information as possible, we should utilize that. Now, yes, granted, sometimes you might miss something, and maybe you should have used this keyword to be able to pull something up. There are instances of that. But when it comes to stating that someone has a communicable disease, or there's potential thievery going on, or potential abuse of individuals, I would say before you push play and make that video, make sure enough information has been released, because there are true implications, there are real implications behind stating that someone did something. Because you were better off just cussing him out and telling him that you don't like his nose, or you don't like his glasses, or he ain't this and he ain't that. That would have been just something to he with. But when you start using words and you have a disease and you're spreading it, you're touching people, you're abusing people, you're seducing people that didn't want it. So unwanted advances, which is a form of harassment. You're a thief. Those are heavy implications that can potentially lead someone to have jail time. I understand that we are now in the movement of getting people and holding people accountable. But as people that are commentary or providing a commentary, we have to be somewhat mindful of what we say. Now, again, we can make our commentary based on the facts that are provided and are given and are readily available to our, to the best of our ability. But it's ironic that most of the things that have been done thus far was recent and because of the fallout. Because all the information about what happened with the boys in certain situations came out in 2021, and she reached out to him to get some feedback or, a statement about it. And many people made videos about it, and she was cool with it. The same information that was then is the same information you had this time. So it makes you wonder, did you do this solely because you were angry? And I don't want to say that is the reason why, but when you look at timeline of events, that's what it looks like. But again, it could just be happenstance and somebody provided that information. But I'm just stating, just by the optics, that's how it appears. And I just hope, as people that are doing blogging, vlogging, or whatever may have you, yes, salaciousness is something that people click into. Wendy Williams did not become as big as she was because she sugarcoated and she gave us boring stories. It was because she gave us the stories that made us go ooh and ah. I just want it to be where we are not going to be putting people in situations that they cannot remove that stain from their name because we're mad. Because if we start that precedent, there's going to be many people's lives that are going to be ruined. And currently, there is not enough recourse if somebody does that outside of just filing a defamation claim or a libel claim or a slander claim. Because that's mainly all it's going to be is monetary. But we do have to start realizing that there are some true ramifications of this. And eventually, if people do not want to act right and we're going to use our channels, our platforms to just ruin people for the fun of it because they don't comply, then I guess as a people we do need to set certain rules and have serious ramifications so people can stop doing that. Because too many people have lost their life, too many people have lost their livelihood because of a rumor. And a lot of rumors get started because of jealousy, because of anger. And those are the things that if you cannot control yourself, counseling, you talk it through, you step away from your phone, you step away from your computer, but you do not purposely try to ruin someone's life because you're angry. Anyways, that's my insight on the Tasha K and Larry Reid situation. Again, many people have spoken about this. Only Conscious TV, he has done a substantial breakdown of the events. And again, because of his close relationship with Larry Reid, he has really done his thing. So I would tell you to go to his particular channel. It's Conscious with a Z, and see his commentary based on the Larry Reid and Tasha K situation. He's funny, he's energetic, and he has more information than I have. I just wanted to put my 2 cents, my insight on this particular situation, because I am mainly concerned that we're heading into a situation where we really have no regard for people's livelihood. And instead of tussling and talking behind the scenes, we rather drag and ruin people's lives. And that's unfortunate. And it really should be unacceptable to all of us. Well, that's my insight regarding the Tasha K, Bishop Whitehead, and Larry Reid situation. I thank you for taking even this small amount of time to hear me out. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Why don't you leave a comment so we can continue this conversation? Click one of these other videos to see my insight on other stories. Like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.